What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Cloud Chronicles, your favorite new podcast. I'm your host, Johnny Blaze. I got a special guest, a California friend, Miss Diana G, a world traveler. We're going to talk about some very interesting stories and some of what she's done in the past within the music industry. So, first of all, say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Okay, I just wanted to go ahead and say you have the best IG. What'd you say?
I was like, is there a lag? I feel like I'm like, and then there's a pause.
Yeah, just a small one, not real bad, but just like a little, maybe not even a half second. Okay. Okay, so definitely tell us about that. You're talking to me about the music stuff. So you used to be in the music industry. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I actually went to school to be a recording engineer, and that was a very long time ago. So in the 90s, I started interning like my last semester of school with this small little record label, and which no longer exists. And then when I graduated, I was working for them, and I got kind of thrown into the mix, shall we say. And I was a recording engineer, and I recorded with Phyllis Hyman on her last album. So like if you go into, remember back in the day when you actually used to get CDs and stuff and you could read the notes.
That was my favorite part of getting a brand new CD. My favorite part. I love when they would have the lyrics.
Yes, that was my favorite.
Yeah.
So my name like is in her album. I worked on I did some tracking for like one of Diana Ross's albums, RuPaul. For a little bit of time, I actually got to work with George Brown from Kool and the Gang. Was the drummer. And
okay, I didn't know which one he was.
Yeah, so he was the drummer, and he's actually the one who wrote a lot of the songs. So like Celebrate Good Times, Come On. He wrote that.
Okay. Yeah, that's classic.
He had a studio in his house, and I used to go up to his house and help him record song ideas and stuff like that. So it was pretty cool. It was a long time ago.
No, that's really cool. So this label that you didn't want to talk about, look, I understand you were the one really pulling the scenes for Death Row behind Suge Knight. You don't talk about it. I understand there's repercussions. Okay, we won't get into it. It's all good. It's all good. I got it. You said it no longer exists. I know what that meant. You got people watching. I don't want to get you in no trouble. Exactly. So all this traveling, world traveler. So where was like the first place, like what made you want to get into traveling, and like where was like the first place you went to out of the country?
I really have traveled since I was a baby because I was born in Rome. And
oh shit.
Yeah, so I was born in Rome, and we used to travel back and forth between the United States to see my mother's mother. So my father was born and raised in Rome. My mother's Sicilian, but born and raised in the States. But so she lived in Rome with my dad. They got married, had my brother, had me. And so we would go back. So and growing up, once we moved back to the United States, we always would travel back to Rome. So I've always traveled.
Right.
It's funny though, because there's definitely my folks are all in Portland now. That's where I grew up. I grew up in Portland. I've been in LA 29 years actually. And once I left home, traveling kind of stopped, right? I went away to college, and then, you're a broke college student, or
right.
You're not traveling anywhere. I didn't even go, I went to school in LA. I didn't even go down to Mexico, which is only like 2.5 hours. Like I never did the typical go to Tijuana. I didn't do
that. Cancun thing.
Yeah, I don't know why. I just didn't. And I think also it was like this sort of guilt that like if I had time to go somewhere, it was to go see my family, right?
Right.
I didn't do anything really fun.
Right.
And then I started working, and then again, it was this thing of, well, I have time off. Well, do I go somewhere fun or do I go see my
family? Yeah, it was like
right? And so
right.
I don't know at what point it was finally like, listen, I'm I'm traveling somewhere else.
Yeah,
But I started
right.
doing that. I actually joined a really dope travel club and met a bunch of great people and started going like I've been all over the world. Last year, I'm glad, listen, I went to a bunch of countries last year. Thank God, because it made up for the fact that I went nowhere this year.
Yeah, you had to get it in last year, luckily.
Yeah, so last year I went to Egypt, I went to Paris, Rome, where else did I go? Went on a cruise to the Bahamas. I went to Bahrain. I went to Dubai. I feel like
Dubai.
places.
Dubai.
Dubai is dope. And Abu
Which
Dhabi.
one? So, yeah, I was gonna ask you. Tell me about Dubai. Tell me about that.
Dubai
How was that?
it was really dope. So it was kind of a whirlwind trip. So we did a lot of things in a very short amount of time. And so it was kind of exhausting because my friends and I were like, oh yeah, we're gonna go out. We'll check out the nightlife and all this stuff. But by the time we were done doing all the other stuff during the day, we were like, we'll see you in the morning.
Right. Right.
But it's beautiful, super clean city. And it's so crazy because you think, first of all, it's not, like for someone like me who's from Rome, where everything goes back to BC, right? There's ruins everywhere. This is a brand new city in the middle of a desert. In fact, when we went, I think it was their 40th birthday or something like that.
Yeah, so it's not even, it's
like 40 years old.
Yeah.
So, but it was really cool, really clean. The Burj Khalifa was incredible, like, looking up at it and stuff. So it was really dope.
So they got those buildings that are like through the clouds and stuff.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Burj Khalifa is, I believe it's the tallest building in the world, or at least at some point it was. I'm sure somebody was like, we're gonna put an antenna on our building and then we'll be taller.
Right. I wonder if that's the one that they showed in that Fast and Furious when they like he jumped out of one building into the other. You remember in the car? It was like those two big tall buildings. I don't think you make.
I think
that kind of sounds like.
I feel like that's in Singapore or somewhere where they're like the two buildings and they're kind of connected with there's like a little thing that goes across them.
No, there was no connection in these, and I'm pretty sure they were in Dubai. And that I got wrong, but no, there was no connection because he just jumped the car out the window and just went into the other one. I just thought that was like they were like in the class. What I thought about as soon as you said why.
Got it. Full disclosure, I've probably only seen a couple of those, and I don't remember which.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. If you want to see this is one of the. It's one of the last ones. It's one of the last ones.
Okay, I didn't see it.
You probably didn't see it. It's okay. It's okay. You didn't miss too much. It was good. That was the best scene, though. You jumped out. Make me buff. I'm sorry. It's a great scene. You got to see it. Just pull it up on YouTube.
I'll have to look it up after.
Right. So you said you're in LA, right?
Yes.
LA. Okay, so y'all are on lockdown, like for real lockdown.
Listen, I mean, compared to where you are, compared to Georgia, yes. But it's not quite like it was in March. So when we first, or April, when we first got put on, when we first got stay-at-home orders and stuff, it was trippy. Like you would go out and it was a ghost town. It was
right
actually because like I have someone who I take to the doctor, right, or who I used to take to the doctors and stuff, and so I had to go out, and it was so weird because like there'd be no traffic. It was beautiful. Let me tell you, I was like, oh, I love this.
Yeah, I was about to say that must have been
experience LA with no traffic.
Yeah, I've heard it takes you like 4 hours to get 30 minutes sometimes.
Yeah, 2 miles.
I've never been.
Like, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So people are, so they started sort of opening back up, and then now we're supposedly closed back down. It's what is it? It's not what is the order called? Something like better off at home or something. I don't know.
Right.
But grocery stores are open, and they actually have retail is actually open where before it wasn't. The first time around when we first had the lockdown, it wasn't. So, but now it's like at 20% capacity. But what they're doing is like small businesses and stuff are closed, or
Okay.
nail salons, or stuff like that, which I find really interesting. So like
Yeah.
Ross and TJ Maxx, and so they're essential. I'm confused. Why?
Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation. What and who they deem
Yes.
essential.
And clearly small businesses are not deemed essential in any way, which is pretty messed up. But so it's everyone wears masks. I'm extra careful because again, I live with somebody who is high risk, and I'm not trying to get them killed if I bring home COVID. You know what I mean? I'm less worried about it for me than for them. But I just take precautions. I still go to the grocery store. I still go work out. But the gyms most gyms are closed unless they're outside. And I work out. A friend of mine has like a little gym in his garage and behind his garage. So it's just me in there. So it's kind of.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
So y'all like have to wear masks like out on the street, or is it just inside?
No,
Like
you're supposed to wear masks basically kind of at all times. Obviously, if you're outside and there's no one around you, you can take it off. But like if someone's come, let's say you're walking. Although now, so here's what's really confusing. I read the mayor's, like, the city of LA mayor, what's his name? Garcetti. I don't like it.
Okay.
So he's very, very pro LAPD. He throws a ton of money at them, and he is really tone deaf to what's happening, right?
He's not very woke.
Not at all. Not at all. So
okay.
It's interesting because like his little stay-at-home order was, saying, you're better off at home, don't leave the house if you don't have to, all these things. But we're not going to close the beaches. We're not going to close parks and hiking paths and stuff. I'm like, so
yeah, the beach thing doesn't make sense.
Why? Right. If those are open, people are going to go. Like,
right.
Yeah. I don't get it.
You forget we're in LA.
So it's not as quiet, shall we say, as it was that first time around.
Right.
So it's going to be interesting.
Well, here I think recently they just dropped I think they just dropped back down the bar capacity here in Texas.
That's crazy to me. Although Texas, not surprised.
Yeah, I mean the bars are still open. Yeah, like it's
so that's one of the things we had outdoor dining for a while. They brought that back, and now they've stopped that. Now it's take to go only.
Okay.
No eating outside either.
Well, I mean, I didn't understand. Well, yeah. So you can pick up your food, but you can't eat outside anywhere.
Right. Pick it up, take it home.
So are you having big long lines of people like forming a crowd now because everyone's trying to get to?
That probably. I cook for myself, so I try to save my money. Either that, or if
no.
Or I would Uber Eats it. You know what I'm saying, or I'd do something like that. Right. But no, because I'm following this whole training thing, working out and stuff. I just cook for myself. But my understanding is like, yeah, some places you have like a line of people. It's just dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah. No, go ahead.
No, I don't really know what else to say. Like, how do you keep that from happening? I mean, people got to eat, but and at least it's allowing some of these small restaurants and whatever to stay in business. But how do you keep that from happening? You know what I mean? How do you keep people from congregating. Although I feel like in LA, for the most part, people are more cognizant of staying away from each other. Like they're not on top of each other. You know what I mean?
Right. The
So
6 feet thing, they're kind of doing that at least.
it's hard, like in the grocery store, you're gonna walk by people and stuff like that. But like the lines, they have like they put down these little stickers where it says 6 feet, this is 6 feet, this is 6 feet.
Yeah, they got that here too.
Yeah.
They got that here in the stores too. People usually do it here. They're pretty like when you're in the store, the most parts, like, you know, go to Dollar General or Walmart and stuff, everybody's pretty much wearing a mask and everything. But the bars and stuff like that, like out of that part of me is just like, hey, let's high five and just, you know what I mean? Just, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, you know, like it is, if it's still going around, I don't see why, you know, like the bars need to be open at all.
Right. Why?
Because it's just like that's like the biggest breeding pool, I would think. Bathroom, drink.
Yeah, you would think so. Especially people drinking and,
Yep.
you know, if they're getting drunk or whatever, they're not thinking about personal space.
None whatsoever. None whatsoever. None. Yeah. So you are in California. So that brings me to a little thing. Edibles. We wanted to talk about this. You had a little funny edible story. And I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but you're on the spot, so now you got to share.
Okay. So it's maybe funny now, but when it happened, it was, can I cuss?
Of course.
That was scary.
You can cuss, drink, smoke.
Listen.
Yeah, get it out. Yeah, get it out.
It was really scary. So it actually, I had gone to see a show at the Comedy Union. It was one of the ones that To Hear More was hosting. It was the very
shout out to To Hear More. Big fan.
Shout out to Hear More. It was the first time I was going to see him and a bunch of other comedians live. And it had I think Kev on Stage performed that night. I can't remember. Flex.
He's hilarious.
Remember Flex?
Yes, Alexander.
Flex Alexander performed.
Yep.
It's kind of funny the way this turns out. And I can't even remember who else. But there was a couple, like, you know, big name, not huge names, but names that you know.
Headliners, yeah.
Yeah. So I went with one of my girlfriends and her ex-boyfriend now, but her boyfriend at the time. And I don't know why. So I rarely partake smoking. I don't really drink a lot, but when you go to like the comedy clubs, it's like a 2-drink minimum. So I had this bright idea because across the street from the Comedy Union is a co-op, a weed co-op. I was like, hey, why don't we get some edibles and it'll be a really funny show, right?
Now, explain to the people down here, especially what a co-op is, real quick.
Well, a co-op, first of all, this is a weed dispensary, but it's a co-op. I guess I think people can have kind of ownership in it. I think you can have like a membership or something.
Oh, okay.
Right, okay. But it was basically it's a weed dispensary because it is illegal here. It's probably not in Texas, right? Is it legal? Recreationally?
They're working on it. They're working on it.
Got it.
Shout out to Texas.
All right, so here it used to be just medicinal, but it's legal recreationally. So I don't know, I had this bright fucking idea. I have no idea why. And so we went across the street, and I'm vegan, so there's like limited choices at this particular place. Like I couldn't get stuff like that. So they had it was dried fruit, right? Don't ask me how much. Again, because I don't partake, I don't know like the amounts and all that other stuff.
And you had no one there to guide you?
Well, and the thing is, the girl I was with, she's a huge weed head, like she's a stoner, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think she normally does edibles.
Okay.
So I had done edibles once before, and I also had a it just was a crazy story. Like, because I didn't understand that it took so long for you to feel the effects. This is like in my 20s.
Right.
I was at a party and had brownies. I was like, well, I'm not feeling anything. So I smoked and then had more brownies because I got munchies and smoked. I was high.
No.
That time I was literally high for at least 24 hours. And it was literally, it was going really, I was so high, I really couldn't move. And then I'd start coming down. I was like, oh God, oh, thank God, I'm coming. And then I get high again. And then I come down. And then it was crazy.
Yeah, and I was like, you thought we were done with you.
Right. And back then I thought, never doing edibles again, right? So I don't know why I had this bright idea this particular night to do this. So we go across the street and I get this package of their dried strawberries. Now, nobody doesn't say on the package, don't eat a whole strawberry.
Right. No.
And it tastes like candy.
Right.
You're like, it's really good. I was like, because first I kind of took a bite and I was like, oh, and I took the whole thing, right? So we're standing in line. And when I tell you, I started feeling, I'm kind of little. I'm 5'3.5", about.
Oh man. Oh yeah. That'll put you on your ass.
Baby, right? So
yeah.
I thought, okay, it's going to take at least, I don't know, 30 minutes, right?
Right.
It wasn't even, I don't even think it was 10 minutes. And I told my friend, I was like, oh, I'm starting to feel it already. I think I'm getting high. And she's like, and she's of course has a huge tolerance, right? She's like,
is she taking some edible too?
Yes.
Okay.
I can't remember. She had bought her own. So she might have had something different than I did. I don't know. So we get in the club and the way it's set up is like, there's the wall and then, it's this way, right? Or if I'm the wall, the seats are here. So they seat us front row against the wall. So I'm basically the side of the stage, right? So I'm next to the wall, then she's next to me, and then her boyfriend. And the show starts going, and I'm like, I am getting real. Like, I was so fucking high. And all I kept thinking was, you start dripping out, like, are those people looking at me? Can they tell I'm really high?
Oh, that's the worst feeling in the world. They all know. They all know. They're all looking at me.
They don't know me. They can tell. They can tell I'm fucking high, right?
Yeah.
And I kind of started like, fuck. When I tell you, I couldn't even laugh. The jokes, some of the jokes were funny. There was one guy who went up there and I was like, is he talking about incest? Like, it was just like, how you start.
Oh my God.
I was like, this is not funny. This is not funny. This guy's sick. He's talking about his sister. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. You were having a whole nother conversation.
No. And then so Flex
in your head.
Listen to this. Flex, by this time, I'm like, I can't really move. Right. And I'm telling my friend, I was like, I can't move. She's like, drink some water. And I'm like,
hold on, you froze up on me. Hold on.
Oh,
we're experiencing technical difficulties. While we are, smash that like button, hit the subscribe to the Cloud Chronicles. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Are you there?
I'm here. You were frozen on my end. I don't know what just happened. You just went really fast.
On my end. You were frozen on my end.
Oh, that's so weird.
You were. You were sitting there frozen. Oh, okay. You were sitting there like this. I caught you at a big eye moment, and so like, so I had this dead air time. So I was like, thanks everybody for tuning in. Smash that like button, hit the subscribe. I even gave a little in the middle of all that.
I could hear everything you said, but you
were okay.
And then when you came back to life, you did this. I was like,
oh, it had to catch up.
Yeah.
It had to catch up. It was like,
right.
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta love technology.
Oh yeah, man. This is where we're at, though. This is where we're at.
What's the last thing? Because when I froze, could you still hear me, or you couldn't hear me?
No, I got nothing.
Okay.
That's what was weird.
So what was the last thing I said?
You had taken it. You were telling me we were laughing about how you were having a conversation in your head about the guy you thought he was talking about insects, incest.
Right.
I did.
Okay.
Okay.
So at some point, I can't even really laugh. I'm not laughing. Like, I find things funny, but I'm literally like this the whole time. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I can't really move. I'm telling my friend, I'm like, I'm really high. And she's like, try to drink some water. And I had water sitting in front of me, and I'm literally trying to convince my arm to move to get it. Like, I couldn't.
Yeah.
So Flex gets on stage and he starts telling a story about the worst edible experience he ever had. It was about having edibles over the age of 40. And I'm like, he's talking about me.
It's like they've told him now. Now he's talking about me.
When I tell you what was happening in that moment was paralleling his story. And I think he ended up going to the ER. I probably should have, but I didn't. So he's telling this story, and the whole time I'm going, holy shit, I'm living this like right now. This is what's happening to me. So all these comedians go through, and what's starting to happen is I'm starting to kind of feel like I'm twitching.
Right.
Oh, also, I probably should note that she and I downed our 2-drink minimum. We had like rum and pineapples, and cheap rum or whatever. We downed it because it just tastes like pineapple juice. So I don't know if that was also part of mixing all that together. I have no idea. Like,
I'm gonna say it definitely helped the situation.
Oh God. So the show is over. Tahir actually came up to me. It's like, hey, I was noticing during the show, he's like, you weren't laughing at all. He goes, did you not have a good time? And I was like, full disclosure, I'm really high right now. I was like, it was funny. I just couldn't laugh. I felt so embarrassed. It was the first time meeting him.
Yeah.
And I felt so stupid. He's like, oh, okay. He's like, well, I'm gonna go outside and greet people. I'm like, okay. And so I'm sitting there twitching, and I'm like, I don't, because I told my friend, during the show, I was like, listen, I'm having a bad trip. She's like, well, do you want to leave? I was like, I can't, because I can't move, and we're going to make a scene, and we're in the front row, and I'm going to get roasted. Right?
Yeah. I'm going to stand up and fall or some shit.
No, I thought I was going to pass out. I was like, I'm either going to pass out or I'm going to throw up over the stage, and I'm going to get clowned for the rest of my life.
Right.
And so I was like, I can't move. I said, we got to wait till the show is over and everybody leaves, and then I'm going to get up. You got to help me get up and leave.
Okay.
So everybody leaves this, and then Tahir had come and said hello and then left. And then I looked at her and I was like, I'm about to Earl. Her boyfriend ran to the kitchen, somehow grabbed a huge plastic garbage bag. And when I tell you, he made it to me in the nick of time.
Yeah.
I hurled. And then I felt kind of better, and we got up, got into the car to leave. And when I tell you, I started having seizures. I don't know if they were seizures, convulsions, whatever. I was literally like this. And I couldn't stop. It was crazy. Yeah. And she was like, should we take you to the hospital or should we go home? And you're in that moment, it's so stupid that you feel embarrassed. I'm like, just take me home. Like, I probably should have gone to the hospital. You know what I mean? And so they took me home, and her boyfriend was clowning me, talking about I look like Ray Charles, because it was like, if I closed my eyes, I didn't have the convulsions as much, but anytime I would open my eyes, I think it was just the sensory stuff. It would
the lights and everything. That'll do that.
I'd be like this.
Yeah.
It was really embarrassing. And I was like, lesson learned. Never again. When I tell you never again, I will never have another edible as long as I live.
You're just giving me another reason not to. I'm not an edible fan, man, because I don't like that not being able to control. Like, I want to be able to come down when I'm ready to come down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. You're frozen. You're frozen, and I have no idea what you're saying.
Hold on, I couldn't hear you. And
Okay, I was saying you were frozen, and I didn't know what you were saying.
oh no, I said all I said. Oh, so you didn't hear any of that?
Other than you want to be able to control when you come down. That was it.
Yeah, that was the last thing I said.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That was it. I'm not. And see, like stories like that.
Right, and the thing is like, on the rare occasions I do smoke, I'm literally a one-hit wonder. That's all I need.
Right.
So,
well, you got the best stuff out there too.
Right, and I have no tolerance. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah,
right.
Edibles, never again. In fact, I've been having like some anxiety and stuff. I think the pandemic has probably made it worse, and so, you know, I've looked for like CBD products and stuff, and
right.
What I didn't realize is that dispensaries are not allowed to sell CBD without THC in it, which is kind of crazy to me. But
it's weird. I used to work at one down here, and I think we could sell. We had CBD bears.
Right. But there was probably a THC,
but they didn't have any.
Very minimal. No.
No, I don't think we. If there was, I don't. There wasn't supposed to be.
Okay. Yeah.
It wasn't supposed to be.
Reason,
they were really supposed to be.
I don't know why it's that rule, but it's illegal for them to sell CBD that doesn't have at least a little bit of THC in it. And I don't know if it's
that's weird.
Because then if it's just CBD, it becomes a medical. Who fucking knows?
Yeah.
So I had gone
right.
to the dispensary and I was going to get some, and I almost bought it. And I was like, wait, there's THC in here. They're like, oh yeah, there's very little. I'm like, no, I don't want it.
right.
I don't care if it's like a nanogram. I don't want it.
Yeah.
If I'm eating
bring
it,
me,
I don't want it.
Bring me the Haribo gummy bears. I don't want nothing from here.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it. I will never have another edible in my life. All that.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Stick with the smoke in it, man. Stick with the smoke. Stick with the smoke for sure. Okay, before I let you go, I want to hear about Cuba.
Cuba was dope. Yes.
Yeah. Tell me about Cuba.
Cuba is dope. I hope I get to go back one day. I loved it. And we were there during Carnival. So it was like there was a parade that lasted hours and hours and hours. And we just saw all kinds of like floats and people in costumes and dancing. And that's one of the things I really love. Like, the people were amazing. It was me and my group of friends. And like the first night we were there, we met a couple of guys who were really cool. We had gone out. I think we were just kind of exploring. And there was like this little plaza, and it was nighttime, and it was like a party because it was God, is it Carnival? I can't even remember.
What is Carnival? You said that earlier. I didn't want to interrupt, but
it's like, so like, you know, in Brazil they have that huge, it's that same thing, but it was, I want to say it was called something else, and it's not coming to me now. I'm sure as soon as we hang up I'll remember.
Right.
I don't remember. I
have to ask my friend, one of my childhood friends. He's from there. Like, okay. I grew up with him.
When were we there? We were there in September. It would have happened in September. Mm-hmm. So it was like a big party, and we met a couple guys, and one of my friends is an amazing dancer, right? She's danced for Bette Midler. So she's, you know, Broadway, all that stuff. And she's incredible. And so
right.
That one of her dreams was to dance in the streets of Cuba. You know what I mean? Salsa in the streets of Cuba. So we ended up meeting these two guys and the group of us, and we were all dancing together and stuff. And they were like, hey, come with us. We're going to this club. And we're like, let's go. And it was dope because one of my favorite things about traveling is experiencing life as, you know, a local. I'm not big on let's do all the touristy stuff. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, there's some things you have to see, like the pyramids in Egypt.
Of course.
Right? But to be able to have experiences like the locals do is amazing. So they took us to this like local club. It was a downstairs, like total dive, but just watching people dance and stuff is incredible. I'm like, you know, I can sort of dance.
Right. It's okay. You can put yourself out there.
I accept the fact I'm white. You know what I'm saying? But I used to be able to. In my 20s, I was a decent dancer. As you get older, I don't know. You lose coordination. But if you don't practice, You know what I'm saying? So it was so cool, like watching everybody dance. And so like we were just drinking and having a ball and dancing with the locals. Which the cool part was, you know, like the guys, obviously with the women, like if you don't know how, they totally lead you and they teach you and feel like I was like, either I was really drunk or I was like, I'm dancing. I'm like, yes. So apparently at some point in the night, my friends were like, okay, we're going. And they went to leave. And I was still dancing on the dance floor. And I kind of looked around. I was like, I didn't look around. I didn't realize they were gone.
They left you?
Well, they didn't completely leave me. They had gone
up
the stairs and realized I wasn't with them.
Okay.
By the time they made it back down the stairs, I'm being picked up by some guys, right? And like, we're like, and of course I got it on video. It's one of those, you know, videos that will never.
Yeah, I gotta see that.
Actually, if you go to my Instagram and go, you know how there's the page you can kind of go to where people tag you. You know, there's like like not your feed, it's the feed of people who tag you. It's there.
Right.
It's there.
Okay.
I was like, I thought we weren't posting this. Why are you tagging me in this? I left it.
Yeah.
But it was fun. It was a really good time. But yeah.
So your friends come back downstairs, they got you in the air like baby.
And they're like, what? But then they started dancing again and we had a good time. So I was like, I didn't know you guys were leaving. Why didn't anybody tell me? Like, but they're like, we did. I'm like,
yeah, that's hilarious. Glad you didn't get left though, because that turns scary.
Yes.
In a foreign country.
It does. But I was trying to remember. We had walked there because we had stayed in an Airbnb, and I think we had walked there.
Oh
yeah. Had to walk back. They would have realized at some point that I wasn't with them because it was a small group of us. It was maybe 1, 2, 3, 7 or 8 of us. So it was a small group. It wasn't that big. At some point they would have been like, we don't hear Diana.
Yeah, where is the little one? No, it's funny.
It was dope.
That's funny. Well, thank you so much for your time today and joining me and sitting down and sharing some stories. I had fun. I appreciate it. Definitely kept me entertained. It was great.
You would ask me. I think that's pretty dope. And you're frozen.
I was sitting there. I was like, sit. Wait a minute. Let me sit. I'm sending.
It's so funny too because I was like, I feel like I didn't really get to. I didn't talk very much, on Zoom with the homies. It was dope being on there. It's so funny. I don't know if you experienced it the way I've experienced it, but I've been watching it since I didn't get to see that first 5-hour show, the very first one, but I started seeing it like when he kind of decided to do it as a show.
Yeah.
pretty much every single one of them. And it's funny because while we're not on it, you feel like you're part of Zooming with the homies, right? Like you start to feel like you know all of these people, like like Keisha E, who I met, really sweet and responds when I DM her and stuff when we talk about the the elbow.
The pose. Hit him with the pose.
Yes, you know what I mean, or CP or all these people, and you feel like you are Zooming with the homies, and so to me it was kind of surreal, but I still felt like I was watching. So I was like, but I was really nervous. I was like, why?
I can only imagine.
Because I was like, just please don't let CP roast me.
Right. Yeah, I wouldn't want CP to get a hold of me either.
No. Yeah. So I love.
He's a roast king.
Yes. But I love that he did that, and that was it was a dope experience. I wish I would have, maybe talked more or inserted myself a little more. But you know how it's weird with Zoom. It's like you can't really talk over people if someone's talking. It's not very. It's like you feel like you have to wait your turn, and
it was
fun. It was fun. So, and then you reached out. I was like, you want to talk to me? What?
Yep. He was like, blue check shorty up next.
Yeah, not quite. Although thanks to Zooming with the homies, I got like a bunch of new followers. I was like, thanks, guys. And of course, I'm one of those people,
millions of people watch that.
Well, it's funny because when people follow me, I always follow back. Unless you have like 0 posts, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So I'm the same way.
I follow, I don't know, almost 3,000 people, and only 1,500 and something follow me. Like, I think there's some unwritten rule that you're supposed to like follow fewer people than follow you, which is, I think it's so stupid. But anyway.
No, I don't know. Yeah, people want that ratio really low for some reason. I guess it makes
does it look important?
I don't either. I mean, that's how I got my number to where it is. I would follow everybody back that followed me. Is just like a way of saying thanks. You know what I'm saying? Like, appreciate it.
For sure.
So
anyway,
definitely.
Follow me and I'll follow you back.
Right. And for everyone watching out there, her IG handle is Have Mohawk Will Travel. It's down there at the bottom of the screen. You see it right there. So please follow her. She has some great workout videos. Definitely will keep you laughing and make you want to work out.
Yay!
So again, thanks for sitting down with me today. I appreciate it. Hopefully you'll come back on again and we can chop it up some more.
I would love it. Hopefully I'll be a little more interesting.
You were great. It was great.
I tell you what,
it was great. I loved it.
What's not going to happen is you're not going to hear any more edible stories.
That's okay. Okay. Unless a new one pops up by it, you never know. I got you. I got you. Well, thanks to everyone for tuning in to another episode of the Cloud Chronicles. I'm your host, Johnny Blaze. This is World Traveler Extraordinaire, Miss Diana G, aka Have Mohawk. Clap it up one time. Thank you so much. So everybody, Cloud Chronicles merchandise is available. Get it. The links are in the description. Smash the like and subscribe. We are out here. Peace and good vibes to everyone. And like I always like to say, mental health is real. Take care of this. It'll take care of you. Peace and good vibes to everybody. All right. We'll see you later. Peace.